Welcome to Talk to Ya, the father and daughter podcast you've never heard of nor asked for. I'm Ari.
And I'm Aaron.
That's right. That's right. All right.
Talk to me, sister.
So, it is March 28th, 2023, as I recall. And as you know, we like to talk about national days here for some reason. I think you're the reason.
I'm the reason. I think I find it quite amusing. Okay, these different national days.
It's amusing.
And we pick one that we find interesting, and we talk about it.
And you know what? And I'd like to honor your amusements. So that's why we continue this tradition every episode.
Wait a minute. How about National Aaron Amusement of National Day
of Amusement
Day?
That's going to be the title of the episode, by the way. Perfect.
That's amusing.
That is amusing. So, yeah, that would be, that'd be quite a delightful day. I guess we'll make it your birthday, December 29th, 1951. So I had to out you and your age right here and there.
Wow.
Look up
There's people.
Look up 1951, folks. See what was still going on then. And still think about if you want people my dad's age running this country. Thank you. Now continue.
Well, it wasn't like the covered wagon days or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, but...
Well, no, it kind of was.
I was going to say, second coming of Christ just happened.
Right. But anyway, I digest.
And I, too. No, so it's not National Aaron Amusement National Day of Amusement Day. It is Respect Your Cat Day?
What?
Yeah, I don't know. And listen, I kind of have a problem with it because let me tell you, my interpretation of having a cat means you're supposed to respect it every day.
Right.
And this could particularly be like today there's more respect than usual. I'm not implying there's disrespect for the cat every other day, but it's kind of sounding like it.
Well, cat people are, listen, your sister and your brother-in-law, they're cat people.
I like cats. I'm not
I
a cat person.
Listen, I like cats too. I'm just saying that they're cat people, meaning one. Well, you don't have a furry. Well, no, I know.
No.
I don't even want to know. No, don't even say anything. Here's what I'm just telling you. You do not have a four-legged cat in your house. That's all I want to tell you.
But listen, 51% of the population does have their own cat, not four-legged of their own. And let me just tell you.
Wow.
Today
51%.
you respect it, and every other day you respect it, okay? As well as your four-legged animal. I don't know why there needs to be... Why is there an emphasis on this? Do we have a problem? It's not like we have a disrespecting cat problem, do we? I think we have a disrespecting dog problem. I hear more about dogs getting, it's not like people pay for cat fights. They pay for dog fights. You know what I mean?
Well, no, they pay for cat fights too, as you well know. In fact, your sister has a movie
That was a good name drop.
Called?
Right. That was a very good name drop, and Ariel will appreciate that.
Folks, look up the movie Cat Fight, okay? She did it in college.
Protégé.
Okay? Getting her master's degree.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
You'll need rubbing. Yeah, I know. I'm a college dropout.
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm just saying. She got there. You didn't.
No, well, I didn't go to college. Well, I went to college.
Yeah, no. You, me, and Mom. We're the dropout trio.
Yeah, no, we are.
Thank God for Ariel. She's going to keep us alive and well with her success. But
she's the first person on our side, not my father's side, because my father had... Well, no, my mother, your uncle, your great uncle, was the head engineer for the Colorado River Project in California. Right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. That's the Holbert side. And
why were they
the Sinelnikov side,
called Holbert?
Well, they were, I don't know, it was like Levin or something when back in Russia. That they changed their name
Yeah.
when they came
Yeah.
over. And then dad's side, my uncle Sam, he was an optometrist, so he went to school too. But
Patriotic.
everybody else, my mother went to high school, and that was it. My father dropped out of high school, went to World War
Mm-hmm.
II as a surgical nurse, and
Which, in my
so
opinion, best type of
right,
veteran. Sorry if that's problematic to say.
right. No, I
Because
agree. Helping the
we
people that
knew
are
he
hurt.
helped more people. He did not kill people. He helped people.
Exactly. Nor did he want
Of
to,
course. No,
according to
yeah, the
him.
kindest soul.
But
Don't know
wait a
how you
minute.
came from
Here's
that,
the
but no.
here's the greatest part of it.
I do. You're in
He,
sweetheart.
thank you. He was stationed in Bakersfield, Stockton, Modesto. Oh, that's right, Modesto, and the Army Hospital there, and stayed there the whole, I think, 4 years, whatever. Wait, and they kept trying to send him, out to war, but his CO, his commanding officer, liked him so much. No, we need him here. We need him here. So my father was able to stay during the entire World War II
Ah.
in Modesto, California. But my
And now that
mom,
Modesto is considered like literally one of the most dangerous places in the United States.
among a lot of car thefts, I'll tell you that. A lot of gang stuff going
Yeah,
on.
no, I mean, no, there's
But anyway,
a lot of murder.
No, there's a lot of shit going on in Modesto. There's a lot of shit going
Yeah.
on in Modesto. Okay. But here's my point. My mom was like, I'd rather be a widow than not be married at all. So she tells my dad, look, we need to get married. But it was during the war. So they were able to get a time to get married. It happened to be Halloween.
Which is like,
So
I
they
still
got married
love
on the
that. I
Is
love
that great?
that so
And-
much because, as you know, of course, I'm a bit of a spiritual being, and Halloween is a very spiritual holiday. A lot of people from the dead are known to be out and about, and so the implication I get from that is that there was ancestral backup to their relationship.
And what I get out of it is I used to tell people all the time they scared each other in the marriage.
Which explains you and me to a T.
Right. No, but here's the deal, which is even funnier. When we were kids, on Halloween night, only till after like 6 or 7 years old, Mom turned the light off in the entryway. So when the kids were walking down the street, they didn't come to our house for the candy because she did not want to have to deal with those kids bringing candy to the house. I swear to God,
This
true
is
story.
why she was one of
Dad
my
and I
favorite
would go out.
people ever, by the way. She's
Dan and I would
just
go
like
out
me.
and right rob candy
Of
from
course.
everybody, right? But when it came to our house, no, we were home, we were asleep.
She's a Taurus queen. She is. She was. Yeah, no, that's what I love. What I love about Bobby is like I'm one to not be like. I'm social and I'm good at being when I want to socialize. I can do that. But for the most part, I really like to, do my own thing, keep my own, and avoid conflict. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so she was, I think, a very similar person. She's very social, but knows when to cut things off. And I was always so like, I always liked being around her for that reason. And even conversation wise, she was good at getting to the point. No matter how old she was, she would always get to the point. She wouldn't carry on too long, and she was a really good storyteller.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's where I got it from.
Yeah, nice try.
Anyway, so we have respect for cats.
We do, I guess, but every day. I guess today is like a nod,
special
to
day
them,
for them. A nod,
maybe
a nod to
maybe
the
a
cats.
chin scratch to them. They like those.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Oh, you're not a
Okay.
woman. You don't get it. Anyway,
Okay.
Speaking of cats,
What?
and
Yeah.
those type of cats, I recall
Right.
you telling me a story recently, and I need you to clarify for me because it's still kind of trapped in my head. Didn't you tell me something about semen sniffing dogs? Which, by the way, we're talking about real dogs, not The men in Hollywood.
Yeah. I read this article about in England. The
that
police
explains
department
it.
has.
Oh, the police department. There you go.
has semen sniffing dogs.
Yeah.
Now I want you to picture this.
I really don't, but okay.
You're the cop.
I also don't want to picture that, but yeah.
Right, who owns the dog, a German Shepherd, of course. Okay, because the Nazis used to take them to nightclubs on a date. Just a little history.
They
there,
still do,
lady.
by the way.
Okay, I call that. I believe that's bestiality, but anyway, I don't want to go there.
We can, because there actually was a recent report from, I believe it was morgues, about that they're not hiring a lot of men for you know why. And then farmers came out and a couple of other industries involving either vulnerable people or animals saying, we're not hiring as many men because this is an issue right now.
Okay, what I want to tell you is that during World War II, they used to take, in other words, the command of the Nazi army, used to take a German Shepherd with them to the nightclubs.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're the problem.
Anyway. Anyway, let's get back to semen sniffing dogs. In England, they have these semen sniffing dogs, which, makes sense in terms of rape cases. This is what they're trying to do.
And all sex
but
crimes,
can you imagine? Right, but can you imagine, the cop that, owns this dog, and takes it home.
Yeah.
Right? Walks into the house, and that dog is sniffing that guy's schwanz for a fucking hour while his wife is looking at him and going, "What have you been doing?" Okay? I mean, that's the only thing that bothers me about this fucking dog.
He goes up to the wife and smells her hair. No, I mean, listen. They
right? I mean, and you don't think that's the truth? No.
And first base is going to be a really tricky.
Wipes, COVID wipes. Is that something? But I mean, that's great. The technology, which is not technology. No, which is not which is.
That's what I want to know. That's a crime within itself. This is why.
Hey, Frank, bring the magazines over. The dogs are coming in.
All cops are bastards. All cops are bastards.
What do they do, man? The cop sits in a room with a magazine, and then he jacks off, and then he says the dog sniff it.
Oh my god.
Okay, and says, "This is what you're going to do for a living now, dog. You're going to sniff
these
cum."
Poor dogs. There's going to be a study in 2050 about the generational trauma of German Shepherds.
Let me tell you something.
Here we go.
Ice. Love it.
Until they...
German Shepherds, unfortunately, have remained German no matter where they are. They're inbred, okay? It's impossible to get it out of them, okay? They want to go to a nightclub and hit a martini, okay? I mean, I've talked to some of these shepherds, and I go, "Hey, dude, what do you like to drink?" "Well, I really like a martini, like they used to make in the 40s.
Dirty. Real dirty.
Anyway, listen, all I can tell you is... All right. Oh, wait a minute.
I just can't talk about dogs.
I got it. I've been dying to talk about this subject for weeks and weeks and weeks because it fascinates me. It really fascinates me. Now, forgive my ignorance, because I'm sure there's people out there that know about this, but I've never heard of this, and it's amazing. There is a bird called the godwit, Godwitt. This bird and its crew. This bird and its crew. Which I believe they call a flock.
If your crow's a murder.
Flies 8,000 non-stop miles Think about that.
I'd rather
Now
not.
they fly in a V. They fly in a V. You know, because of the airfoil and the
cats.
whatever. Right? They respect cats. And they fly at 55 miles an hour. Think about it. That bird flying 55 miles an hour.
Futz.
Okay. Non-stop for 8,000 miles. So here's at 224 hours it takes them to do that. Now, when they before they take that flight,
tired thinking about it.
Right, you know the old story. Right? I just flew in from New York. Right? But here's the deal: when they start out, they're 300 grams. That's how much the bird weighs. They eat double their weight.
Too? These birds fucking rule.
They eat 600 grams, twice their weight, before they start this flight. I just think that is
every morning
mind-blowing.
Before I go out. That's not impressive.
Yeah, sure you do. So anyway, I was fascinated by this.
Yeah,
so
that is pretty cool.
It's pretty
cool. You're a little too fascinated, right? I mean, but carry on. I don't want to burst your bubble, but keep going.
So then I decided, well, let's compare this to an airplane, right? An airplane. So, okay, the longest flight so far nonstop. I know, and I don't even know why. Hold on here. Is it somebody that's...
Is your iPad there?
No.
Oh, it's your computer then.
Why would it ding?
A text message. Someone connected their phone. Tell mom to stop texting.
I'm not telling mom anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I actually wouldn't do that if I were you.
I am commanded.
Yeah, keep talking about your fucking bird.
All right, here you go. So the nonstop plane, 12,427 miles versus 8,000 miles.
Okay.
I'll give them that. It takes them 23 hours on average speed of 600 miles an hour, whatever it is. Okay, now, what about a car? So I look up and I find out this guy, and I had a friend of mine that had this particular car, a 1966 Volvo P1800, okay, which is a little two-seater Volvo, which they no longer make. They haven't made it for years. It was a cool little sports car in my day, okay. This guy from Long Island, who's since passed away,
God bless his soul,
has 3 million miles on his car. 3 million miles on his car. Wait,
what?
With the original block and the original transmission. 3 million miles. So here's my question to you, young'un. What is more unbelievable? The bird doing 8,000 miles in one flight. That's the one, of course. The airplane, which is 12,000 miles nonstop for 23 hours, which I
mean, there's spaceships.
And the car that goes, right, and the car that went 3 million miles, even though he kept up everything, he did a 125-mile commute a day, by the way, when he went to work.
As impressive as the birds are, and I get it, I get your fascination.
Here we go.
Animals typically will impress us in so many more ways than humans will. And so whenever I hear a fun fact about an animal, I'm like, well, yeah, because, they have something we don't. You know what I mean? That's what I always think. When it comes to, like, machine, like man-made machine, like a car, the airplane thing is cool, but the car, that's impressive because that is a machine made by man to not really do that. So the maintenance that was done by it, again, by a person, that's incredible to me. Whatever maintenance was done on that car blows my futhermucking mind.
Okay, 2 things I need to tell you. One, I love your fingernail polish that I just saw.
I do them myself.
And number 2 is, listen, we can make stuff that could last forever because it's man-made. But God made those birds. Well,
I was
really,
gonna say,
you know how that shit started. You know how that shit
when
started.
did
You know, with
you?
the thing and the little people flying out of the ocean, and then the amoebas, and then whatever. But here's my point. Wait. That, to me, a bird, think about a bird flying nonstop for 224, straight hours.
Did I not say I was impressed with the bird? Do you just think it deserves more approval and praise?
No sex.
Why was that the first
No
time?
food. No food.
No respecting
food.
cats.
and the only thing they could do is shit. That's it. They could shit. No, I'm saying that. So, I mean, to be honest with you, honey, you are so wrong. It's pathetic, but you have the right to your own opinion.
I could say the same to you because this fucking bird has been on your mind for a little too long.
It's not that it's been. It's not. It's just to me.
Oh, you've brought up this bird quite a few times.
No, I talked to you about this bird before.
Plenty of times.
I have talked to you about this bird, but now there are probably other birds, by the way, that do similar things. I don't know that. A birdologist would know that.
A birdologist. Hi.
An aviary person. Did you come with me and Mom when we went to the coast and looked at those birds through those? Okay. Well, it was boring as shit.
I would have loved that, actually.
But anyway, I was just curious.
I could do some bird watching.
Yeah, you look at this thing. You know, you have those things. You look at the birds. They're nesting. They're doing whatever. You look staring at them. And
they're birds. Okay. Great. There's some birds. I just like looking at animals. I think they're amusing. See, it could be national respecting animals or amusing. National respecting animals by looking at them and being amused. There we go.
It could be.
So, okay. Let me I want to preface.
I love this ice. Okay. I do it for two reasons. I want people to my age to drink it if they have to drink a carbonated soda that's sweet. And probably be the best thing they can possibly drink on the market. And number two, I want ICE to sign us up for an advertisement, which will never happen. Okay, go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe one day. Don't.
Never.
Well, if you say that, you're just cutting off. You're limiting yourself.
We're gonna get Coca-Cola and 7-Up. Okay.
Yeah.
ICE. This is low man on the totem pole. Okay, go ahead.
Now we just lost that deal, so thank you very much. Speaking of losing deals, there's someone in the news that loves to lose their deals.
And who might that be?
And before we get into this person, I will say I'm always very careful about speaking about him because, I'm aware of his
His what?
Mental incapacitation is maybe the only way I can put it. Yeah. But I can also acknowledge as a public figure who has now made a platform for anti-Semitism. Bets are all off. So Kanye West has recently said that because he watched 21 Jump Street, he's no longer anti-Semitic. And you can't be a Christian anti-Semite because Jesus was a Jew, and that he loves Jonah Hill.
He loves Jonah Hill because of 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street.
Not the movie that Jonah Hill was in and produced.
Uniting black people and Jewish people.
And Jewish people.
Which, mind you, maybe that Kanye hasn't watched that one yet, and if he does, it might make him anti-Semitic again. But nevertheless, it's not that movie. It's not the movie that Jonah Hill just came out with. I think it's about him and his therapist, his Jewish therapist, and talking about men uncovering their emotions, and it would be almost even more of an understanding if that type of movie had some sort of influence on him. No, it was 21 Jump Street.
So let me ask you a question. What does 21
Have anything to do
Jump
with
Street
Jewish
have
people?
to do with
Literally
Jewish?
nothing whatsoever.
Just because
I don't
Jonah
even
was
think there's a
Jewish is what you're saying.
joke in that movie. Maybe
Not
one,
that I'm aware
maybe
of.
maybe one, but not one I could even. I've seen that movie like easily a dozen times.
I do think there was a Jewish joke in that movie.
It was Jonah Hill.
Exactly.
No, I love him. I love him.
Anyway,
he's actually
right. No, I
take him
love
very
Jonah Hill.
seriously.
Listen. What I think you're saying, and there's some merit to. If you're a really good person, which I'm not, but if you're a really good person, you would say, Kanye is mentally ill. He has bipolar, issues that cause him to be the way that
And he
is.
has a
You can say
history
that.
of saying things that are intentionally have shock value. And the history
Yes.
of those things previously have been on the left side because that was more shocking to say on television. Now he's on the other side. I think personally,
Okay.
I don't think he actually has any political beliefs to his core.
No.
I think he just is
No.
he
See me,
mimics,
look at
he
me,
mimics.
look at me, here I am.
He mimics.
That's
He
it.
literally
Yeah,
mimics
yeah.
what he sees, and whatever's pissing him off at the moment, he becomes an enemy of. And that's part of his disorders, weaponizing whatever he has and using his extreme platform for it. Now, mind you, I understand that fully. I've tried to ignore it. My theories is the less you talk about the person, the less platform you give them. You take that takes away their money, that takes away their power, that takes away their voice, yada yada yada. But I will say we have to talk about this because this is probably one of the funniest things he's ever said in his life.
Well, no, it's
Objectively
hilarious.
hilarious.
No, it's absolutely. It's ridiculously. I mean, Kim's laughing. Okay, the kids are laughing. The kids are laughing.
Kanye,
Okay.
Trust me, I am in no way giving him credit for this. He is unintentionally sometimes one of the funniest people. Like he has certain comedic timing that is just incredible that you couldn't think of unless you were that level of insane.
Unless you were
But
one.
I mean,
sick.
it's so like there's a video of him saying basically like I forgot what he was saying, but he was talking about himself and he was kind of defending himself. And there's a pause and he goes, I may be slightly autistic, and then continues what he says to kind of like back up what he's saying as if it's some casual throw-in, something you can just sprinkle in a conversation, slight autism, as if that's going to defend whatever you're saying. And it's just things like that it's like, Kanye, what? But
I'm on the top of the spectrum, but hey, here's the deal.
But here's the thing, you know what I mean? And then another one when he goes, when he first got put on blast for the anti-Semitism and paparazzi were kind of, they were talking to him and he goes, and there was a doctor and I'm not allowed to say what he was. He was Jewish. And like, again, the pause and it's just genius timing that it pisses me off that he's not a stand-up comedian.
Okay, so here's the deal. I read a thing with Julia Fox,
Queen,
and I used the last name Lucy.
Oh yeah, so and this is another thing we'll disagree with. I love her.
And what's her name? Rose.
Oh, Amber.
His old girlfriend.
Amber Rose. I love her too.
I love.
Yeah.
I love her. Okay. Why she went with this guy, I don't know. But here, very interesting. You probably know this history. I'm just going to tell you a little bit. I guess, and they don't say where, but I believe it was in a strip club. She was a stripper, was she not? Wasn't Amber Rose? Well, somehow Kanye met Amber. It didn't say in this article how, but I assume that's how.
I could be wrong, and I should know more about Amber. I think she was a video vixen. Like, she did video,
Okay.
Like,
I know. Fox is how they met.
Julia
Believe
Fox?
it or not, on a video. Yes! Who would hire her for a video? Unless it was back to the semen-smelling dogs.
No, that is full circle.
Right?
And it honestly,
and her brother's up for like a World War II murder or something.
No, and it tells you even more. It tells you even more about like Julia Fox has heavily implied their relationship was more of an arrangement, if anything, and there was pain.
No nookie.
No, there was, but
there was nookie.
But there was also
nookie
and gifts and other things involved.
So, no. So let me tell you.
Kind of thing about her, past, but also present. She just can't really blatantly say it without also getting arrested. So it's like she's danced with the idea and also it's completely believable because if they've had that long of a past, it's like that it seems kind of convenient that this relationship rekindled right after his divorce or during his divorce.
Rekindled?
As if if they knew each other for that long, why didn't they have?
They knew each other for a second. Look, Amber Rose was with him for quite a long time, as I remember. I don't remember how long it was. Okay, and what she said was that when they met, they had no sex whatsoever. He went back to wherever his little hole is, where he climbs into. And she was in, I don't remember, L.A.? I don't even know where she was. L.A.? I don't even know. Wherever the hell. Probably Atlanta. I think that's where the strippers that make all the money are. But whatever, it doesn't matter. And he called her and said, hey, why don't you come and live with me? They didn't. And she went. Okay, so he took her out. He bought her thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars
history
of
repeating
clothes.
itself.
She was crying because she was so poor.
Yeah.
When she was younger,
so you
to her
answered
this
your
was
own
complete
question
amazement.
why she was with him. I know.
We know why, of course. But wait a minute.
That's Kim's
Here's
love
my
language,
point.
which also explains why Kim loved him.
Now, Fox says she met him in a foxhole or something. I don't even know. No, she was in some video, I believe, and somehow they hooked up, and then he bought her thousands. Remember, I even remember the pictures. All right, and blah blah. All right, here's my point. Amber Rose, I find her quite intelligent. Fox not so much. But here's my point. They are so afraid of what to say about him. They were on a podcast together, and they wouldn't really say anything. First of all, they talked nothing about sex. Yeah. There was no discussion about, which is the first thing everybody in the whole world wants to know. Well, can the guy drop it or not?
To the insanity they have to deal with, and honestly, they're smart to not say enough about him. You know what I mean?
I agree. But the point of it is, you're sitting here in this podcast, and you want to hear the juice, and all they say. Well, he was very creative, and he always, if somebody said no, he said he wanted to prove that it was yes. And all that bullshit. Okay, but anyway.
I can probably find some subtle implications in there, too, that I'm like, well, it seems like because they can't say things directly, but because of a lot of these defamation lawsuits that are happening right now, people need to be very careful about what they say, even if it happened, which is terrible. Like, we're losing our freedom of speech right now because people...
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? If you say something that is the truth, which typically is not... something that is not provable. In other words, if somebody said, hey, Kanye can't get it up. Let's just use it. When I was with him, Kanye couldn't get it up. He can throw all the defamation lawsuits he wants. There has to be proof that what she says isn't true.
And knowing Kanye, he'd get a boner in court. Next question. To prove it.
There you go. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that whole Kanye thing up, the movie thing. More importantly, this guy, he hated Jews 5 minutes ago. All of a sudden, he loves us. What is it? What is it?
For me,
what is it, brother?
Annie Hall would have done it for me, but that's another thing. I'm just
Annie Hall.
I don't know. I think it's a great movie. It's a great Jewish film, a Jewish made film.
Yeah.
But no, it is funny because he did pick the least Jewish thing I think Jonah Hill's ever been in.
Well, that's the whole joke. I mean, that's the joke, of course. But to say that when the actual movie that
Even
just
Superbad
came
would
out
have been a better
about
answer.
a Jewish man and an African American woman that hooked up together and the issues that they had with their families and their situation is what it's all about. And if you were to love Jonah over anything, it would be that. But this guy is so stupid that this is what he goes back to is 21 Jump Street.
Well, personally, I think it was comedic genius. So,
and one more thing that I'm gonna sound stupid.
You have no problem doing that, yeah.
Jonah Hill was in 21.
Yeah, not the original. The remember they did a reboot.
Oh, the second one. Johnny Depp. It was Johnny Depp.
That's why you had that moment. So yeah, and funny enough, Johnny Depp and that guy were in 21 Jump Street. Jonah's version, they played themselves at the end to kind of refer. So yeah, It was Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. You should watch it because I think you'd enjoy it. I think I saw it.
It was a cute little movie.
Jump Street.
Yeah.
Pretty funny too. It's very it's like Superbad, Step Brothers, like that type of kind of dorky, funny comedy, kind of stupid, but like you enjoy yourself watching it. And it is literally down Kanye West alley, but it's just my thing is, and I know we'll change subjects in a second, but what I always think about, and I laugh, but then I get kind of sad, and I'm like, I can only imagine what his kids think sometimes having certain conversations with him of just like, they're probably talking to their dad and thinking they're having a normal conversation. And all of a sudden he just starts talking about Jonah Hill and 21 Jump Street, something like that. And then being Northwest, this is why I hang out with Mom more. Like, this is why.
Yeah, no,
Mom let me hang out with Ice Spice last week. I'd rather go to her house, but who knows? God bless them all.
We'll see.
So, more reality.
All right.
We've got to update on Vanderpump because this is still breaking news by the day.
This is this is a big.
It's a really big story, and I'm so glad.
As crazy and as sick
as
it is a big story. Okay, I want you to know that today I was at a store. Mom and I bought some patio. Oh, we bought some big table and chairs and patio dining room set, for the outside. And this woman was there. She's great. She said she worked there for about 4 years and blah blah blah. And she's talking to me, and so I was up against time, and so I said, they were having a problem. I was signing up for their program, even though Mom was already there. But she told me if I sign up, I get 15% off.
15 or 50?
15, which was $200 off what we bought.
Worth it.
I'll take it. So I'm trying to sign up on my phone, and it's not letting me.
Of course.
And it's not letting me. So I say to her, listen, I don't really have a lot of time. I've got a podcast in an hour. Do you mind? So she said, oh, what kind of podcast? So I started telling her what it was, and she's all interested in listening to our podcast now. I'm going to say if she's 73.
Watch how she's like 40 and you're just being an asshole.
Okay. Now, there was a reason why I was telling you that, right? Because we're talking about Vanderpump. So I said to her, I only have one word. What's that? I go, Vanderpump Rules.
That's 2 words.
She winks at me. She goes, can't wait to see it.
That's 2 words.
You're right.
And also, so she winked and said, can't wait to see it. Do you think she knew what you meant by that? What if she didn't?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, listen, some people don't watch
That's
that show.
my point. This is a big story. This story is the least important story in anybody's world except for the people that are involved, but it's huge. It's huge.
I think you still have a boomer delusion, and I think she was just doing excellent customer service. But
okay,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. What is the latest that we know about the Vanderpump world?
What we know is a fight almost broke out. Now that fight, it was specified that the fight was not between Ariana Raquel, but they didn't say that Raquel or Ariana wasn't involved. and it says it's the two least expected people. Now, if that is being said, I'm gonna think outside the box. But the expected are Lala probably lunging at Raquel. Maybe Lala and James, because if they're saying not expected, maybe it's because we're expecting it to involve Raquel. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, now that I've thought about it more, and I'd kind of love this, maybe what if Ariana lunged at Tom? Which I'd kind of love to, because she didn't hit him, but I'd kind of love to see people holding her back and her just, I kind of want her to have her moment going off on him. I want to see it. Just for her. I want her to get it out, because like I saw in the preview, the mid-season trailer, which is probably one of my favorite mid-season trailers of all time, where she says, you don't deserve a tear, one of my tears, which she's completely right. But I still want to see her go off,
Well, then they were at the house because they're okay. Let's step back a little bit and kind of go where we left off. And where we left off was they had to sit down, right? Isn't that where we left off? And then we found out that from last year, of course. Then we found out that once this thing came out about Ariana and Tom, they decided to do 2 more episodes, right? And they shot 2 more episodes after their last anticipated episode, which we still don't know when that's coming, because it wasn't last week's.
No. I think
it ain't this week.
It is, because
you think this week's is
the trailer for this week was the mid-season trailer.
But we don't know if it's the trailer for next week. Yeah, because
why wouldn't they show us the trailer for next week's? If next week wasn't the new stuff that was filmed, they would have shown us previews for next week's episode. But they showed the mid-season trailer for next week.
When are they showing the sit down?
May.
Do
we know?
This is the end of March.
Yeah. You're right.
Yes,
you're right.
The end of it, May. So now I try to think why. Oh, they want to just people anticipate. I mean, people that are fans of this show, they want to see that sit down,
right?
And they want to see it now. So I don't know why they're doing it.
Maybe
but whatever.
if we
but
yell
here's the other
and
interesting
enough,
thing.
Do it.
Right. Here's another interesting thing. Supposedly, Raquel had a TRO, a temporary restraining order, put on
and then released it
Sheena.
Right after the reunion.
Right after the episode, right after the sit-down, the current sit-down, she released it. Okay. So what that says is 2 things. Number 1, it was baloney in the first place, complete baloney. It was just another thing for us to look at and go, wow, man, this is really intriguing and blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, here's what we did see so far. We've seen Raquel and Tom after the sit-down or during the sit-down, we don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
They were filmed talking to each other. They were both sitting down on the ground next to one of the trailers, and it looked like Tom was, pounding the door as to what he was, what I'm saying is very important. You listen and shut up. And she was sitting there kind of crying. It looked like she was kind of quite in tears, but not quite about it. Here's what we also know. Right after there, they went to Frank Musso's, had dinner, sitting close to each other.
But still.
No kissy, but sitting close, coming out to dinner.
And after the episode, that episode, Ariana and Kristen and all of them went out and were, having a drink. And I guess on TV, there was the report of Raquel and talking to on TMZ, to them or whatever. And they were all there was a film of them going like, boo, like Ariana going, boo.
Now tell us about Ariana in front of the nail shop in the valley right by, did you see that interview from TMZ? They caught her in front of a nail shop and asked her what.
Dad.
Raquel, I'm sorry, Raquel.
That's what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
that was.
Well, no, give a little more detail. Give him a little detail
Raquel
what she said.
Hired the paparazzi to come and meet her at a nail salon in the valley, and they asked her about the black eye, and she goes, well, or no, the restraining order and something like that. And then she says something like, well, I have a scar on my eyebrow because like they brought up how Sheena said, you know, it wasn't real and people are saying the black eye is fake. And she didn't say the black eye was real, but she said she had a scar on her eyebrow.
But she also said when they asked her, how about you and Tom, are you together? And basically she said, well, we're reviewing that, you know, like we're not broken up. We're not, you know, we're talking about it.
The thing is they kind of have to, because it's like, if this happened, they have to prove that it was worth it, even if it wasn't, which it wasn't.
Okay. Now, there's a second part, and I want to get back to them too, but there's a second part where Ariana's yelling at James, which I have no idea. I mean, that's typical, but we're not sure why. But I think it's going to kind of start blending into James's new girlfriend not being real happy with him.
And then Allie saw Raquel and Tom first. She was the whistleblower. The
at
Abbey.
Some concert
the
or something?
Abbey.
Some music thing?
Which, by the way...
At the Abbey, where they put... and tell the people about the... Well, I don't want to get in a lawsuit, but tell what's reported, not what you know, what's reported about the Abbey.
And what I've experienced at the Abbey is that the drinks get spiked with a little something. We don't know how, but let's put it this way. We don't know who.
We don't know who.
People are very vulnerable to their drinks getting spiked at the Abbey. So my suggestion...
Okay.
Avoid that.
Don't go to the Abbey.
Places than we go to. There's better places to dance and see dancers, and not have expensive drinks that aren't good. So, next.
But anyway, all right. So it looks like Tom and Raquel are together. Tom has got this attitude, like, you know. I mean, he in other words, I just couldn't take it anymore. Is kind of what I'm kind of getting out of him. And you know, I was watching some old episodes today, a couple years old, and I didn't forget, but it reminded me that, you know, Ariana, you know, really has some very mental anxiety issues,
and
which she's always had, but
stuff.
she has had very much suicidal thoughts. It came around, one of the times it came around was right before Jack's wedding, when, you know, Jax was cutting out Tom from the wedding, and Ariana was, I don't want to live anymore, and blah, 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 blah. So it reminds me of that, and then it reminds me of how strong she is right now. Dealing with this issue, you know, in public, after having her own mental issues, and I think she's doing a great job.
Fact that I am so happy that it's turned into something better for her, where now she has a movie deal, she's got... You know, I know people left and right brand-wise are contacting her. You know, she's glowing up. She's on the up and all, and she's got Tom out of her life, which really is the best thing of it all.
How about her little whatever suit, little running suit that said 1-800-BOYS-LIE.
Oh yeah.
Redid her hair.
Another thing. Here's a big thing about the reunion. So Andy has a video, and he doesn't show Ariana, of course. That's going to be a reveal. And he says that her revenge dress that she wears to the reunion, she looks insane, and everyone's talking about the background, and it's like it's going to be, of course, very boob oriented, you know, boob heavy. But I mean, she always looks good, so I can only imagine how good she's going to look at this reunion.
Tom has tried unsuccessfully to fool us for all of the seasons that he's an honest, hardworking, only means the best for everybody else. When you and I have an opinion, I believe that when he helps people, and he does help people, it is not for any other reason than to get the glory. It doesn't come from his heart. Right. And this is the problem that he doesn't he thinks he's a stud, and he thinks he can convince people and get away with it. And he can with most idiots that he's been dealing with in that little group, because there ain't a Mensa member between all of them put Charlie, together.
Which, by the way, love her.
Charlie, man, she's funny.
I love when she was backing up Raquel, and then, like, even recently, you know, with all the news coming out, she goes, I don't regret backing her up. I thought she was right at that time. Like, it doesn't mean she wasn't right in that moment, you know?
And by the way, she's eating like food now.
Thank God. I know.
She's adorable. I mean, the
she's
face.
So cute.
That face. And that
love
figure.
Her teeth. I think
she's adorable.
She has, like a, you know, like a, it's like a cuter, like what British models try to do, you know, like that, like the London look. That's what they called it. Get the London look. But yeah, when you have a little gap
okay, I didn't know
teeth,
that.
But like, she looks so cute with that.
Yeah, she's adorable, and she's got her own little issues, but
I like her little attitude.
But we like her.
It's what Lala was always trying to do and wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because Lala's from Utah.
Let's talk about Lala. Let's talk about Lala for a minute, okay? Because I'm up to here.
Yeah, she's
I'm up to
pissing
here
me
with
off
her.
left and right.
Okay. No, what pisses me off about her is she lies about her not knowing the way Randall was when she first met him. And let's just clarify that right off the bat. She met him. She did something to him sexually, and the next thing she did was get a Range Rover. Now, how she can't determine from that.
She wasn't in denial at
That's
that point.
the point. She denied. No, she got in denial as they started.
People is that she didn't know about the whatchamacallit,
the couch casting, the drugs
because
going.
They used to role play the casting couch thing.
This was completely totally exactly
Lisa
what everybody said it was.
Lisa Vanderpump thinking Lisa's gonna like support her. You know what I mean? And Lisa's the one. You knew, didn't you? Because Lisa's the worst of them.
Well,
She's the one that throws them all under the bus.
Of course, but wait a minute. Naomi, she said to her, you don't think your mother would ask what? I mean, come on, man. Are you kidding me? So why don't you just First of all, she bragged before she met Randall that I was with other people giving blowjobs on private jets. So this was just another way up. And here's the thing. For her and Randall even talk about 50 Cent in the first place. No, I got something better. This is better than all of it. They had
Brittany.
Jax and what is her name again?
Brittany.
Rotten hell. Just rotten hell. Right. Brittany, they're on Andy. Randall took Jax for $70,000.
To be honest, that made me
and
like.
And you know what?
More.
I'm like, Randall, you go, boy.
No,
Not that it was hard to do. But it was like taking candy from a baby. Randall's telling him, listen, I got this movie coming up. You know, God is playing the lead role. Mary Magdalene is coming back. This is going to be the greatest movie ever told. And how much you need? Well, I need $70K. $70,000 for what? What? I mean, that's peanuts. First of all, for I assume a movie, right? So, then Andy asked him, "You think you ever get it back?" Oh no, we're working out a deal. They're not.
No way.
They're not working out shit. This guy's going bankrupt.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Do you love it?
That was like.
But here's what.
That hit me in a similar way. Finding out that, like we said last episode.
Like there was a God.
Last episode that Tom asked his mom for money for the restaurant. I mean, like
for the
these
$250.
people, the ones that deserve it the most embarrass themselves the most, and the ones that need the most redemption are starting to get their redemption. And this is why I like this what happens in reality TV shows, because even if it's manufactured television, they're still living their real lives, and the consequences and just like the karmic value life happens. And then, people, I mean, it's so beautifully made that it's like, producers couldn't write this stuff sometimes. And that's what makes it so good.
Okay, look. I've never looked into this. This is an educated guess. But I believe that some of the bigger characters in Vanderpump may be making 25,000 an episode. Maybe it could be way more. I don't know, but I doubt it. But there's certainly in around 25. And then the middle characters. Okay, here's what I'm saying. They weren't making that at the beginning, and they weren't making it probably for the first 5, 6, 7 years. You know, finally, what they should have done is what the Friends people did is say, "Hey, look,
right.
we all want more." But
of
here's
course.
my point. But they're so selfish. But here's my point. For Jax, who was a bartender, to be able to have $70,000 to lose in the first place, this tells me these kids made money
and other
in
things
the show.
From the show.
Now, and other things. Now, Jax now and
Brittany are going to do a podcast.
What's her name? Are doing a
which is like
before that, remember they did the beer cheese? The beer cheese. Right. The beer cheese.
Which, by the way,
the beer cheese.
Whatever. I couldn't puke.
Nutrisystems. What you couldn't puke hard, right?
Yeah. Which, by the way, love
Brittany,
that she
right?
got that deal for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's so there's money coming in for these complete idiots. I mean, Jax would be a alcoholic bartender by now, had he not been on the show, right? That's all, you know. So, you know, I gotta say, these kids make some money. And look at James. James was writing a check for $5,000 for his family and this and that, and they're taking him in and doing that. Yep. I mean, there's money there.
So
man.
going back to that.
Now, are they managing their money?
So Allie allegedly was the whistleblower, right? So if there was an argument between Raquel
the whistleblower on what, honey?
Before the picture. So Allie told James about the Abby situation, right? And I guess she, you know, because she's not friends with them, relied on James to tell everyone else. And James didn't tell them. So I think what happened, why Ariana's yelling at him, is like, you knew this whole time. And didn't. Yeah. I just read something up on that. And it was, so I think Allie saw them back in like September. Or something like that. Like September, November. And so no one found out about any of this until Ariana found the pictures. But I guess, so if they're having the couch sit down and Ariana's yelling at James, my assumption is James made a comment like, yeah, I saw them at the Abbey, or sorry, Allie saw him at the Abbey in November, and Ariana's probably yelling like, why the fuck didn't you say anything before, you know? I mean, that's my assumption. That's the only reason why I could see her being mad at him. Do you have any?
Yeah, no, I don't. Listen, I don't know who's mad at who. Yeah. We're going to find out, of course, but we're not going to find out till May. So you think we have 2 more weeks, in your opinion, the 2 new episodes are going to be next week and the week after, which takes us into mid-April.
Maybe, but
and then May they have to sit down.
We're talking about extending.
Listen, I don't want to bore you, honey. That's all right. I don't want to bore you.
This wind and it's been kicking up my allergies like crazy.
Were you at the?
I did go. I walked down, and it wasn't that windy, but like it was like every now and then it'd pick up, and I'm like, I just know the pollen is going straight up my nose.
Wait a minute. In the last episode, or in a commercial, I'm not sure which. I'm so confused now. They're showing Ariana and Katie's
something about her sandwiches.
Not opening up, getting around the corner by Sir.
I haven't seen. I'll have to check
have you seen that location? But it's on this block which is Robertson. Robert.
Yeah, which is like
5 doors
block
down.
Or 2.
Okay, wait. So here's the thing. Where'd the money come from? We never saw them talking about.
Someone invested, probably Lisa, maybe someone else. Someone invested.
But you haven't seen the actual location.
But, I mean, I have a funny feeling it's going to do well. It's a good idea. You know, the joke is,
can you do it?
They should have switched names. Yeah. Schwartz and Sandy's is a better sandwich shop name. Something About Her is a better bar name.
Of course it is. Well, I like Something About Her
sandwich.
For a
yes,
women's
I agree. And
business.
for if they're trying to do like a fancy,
Period.
yeah.
And it's going to be,
which is going to be
it's going to be cocktails too.
Cocktails and sandwiches
Yeah,
sounds
no, I mean, if this
delightful.
thing, you're 2 blocks away. You're a block and a half away from this place.
Like, I'm going to try and figure out their opening situation and all that.
All right. Anything else you want to talk to Daddy about?
No. Dad. But, okay, let me see if I can find it. Because you mentioned farmer's market. And so I go, here it is. I go and get a loaf of bread, and it's from this place called Basi, Basi. And they put the flour called butterfly pea tea. They're like blue rose petals that are really good for like inflammation and all that stuff. And they make drinks blue, which is really pretty. And then they ferment it in their sourdough.
Okay. Bring it up to the camera more and back a little bit.
It's delicious.
Wow.
And I get it.
Wow.
So
what does it taste like?
What does it taste like? It's a really,
good sourdough?
fluffy, delicious sourdough. And then it's because it has like anti-inflammatory properties, you don't feel as bloated after eating it. And it's like you don't taste the tea in it at all. It just looks pretty. But like it's bread that doesn't, make you feel too. But yeah, it's at the Melrose Farmers Market.
We have to. Okay, so we have to start doing, and we talked about this before. We got to start doing.
I know, we're
food
big
segments.
eaters. Yeah.
Okay, restaurants down in LA mostly, some up here in San Francisco, but more down in LA because I have more interest in that now than up here.
I'm going to talk actually real quick. I had a really good lunch the other day at Zinc in Century City. And that's there's a Zinc on Melrose, which I don't know why I haven't been to that one because that's right here, but the Century City Mall. It's like French, but it has a full coffee bar and a alcohol bar. And then they have really good appetizers. They have meals too. Like I usually get like a rotisserie chicken and fries, which is very me, but I got there, it's like a pizza bites. They have like little square pizza bites that are like very good, like gourmet pizza bites. Amazing. I had some lamb pieces on mine. They have the pommes frites, fries. But
do they have like French, like chicken
They
Dijon?
Probably do.
Do they have chicken cordon bleu?
I usually just get the rotisserie chicken, but like I could see them having a Dijon. So you'll have to check that out.
Right,
I got an espresso martini
next time we're
because
down
I know they
there.
got the coffee bar and the normal bar, and I'm like, this is probably a good espresso martini, and that it was.
Okay. All right, listen, honey, tell the folks how to get a hold of us, and if they want to say that we're no good or whatever they want to tell us.
talktayapod@gmail.com for our email. Talktayapodcast is our Instagram. Twitter and TikTok, YouTube, Talktayapod. And yeah, that should be it. Phone number is 415. But yeah, so we will see you guys next time.
All right.
And thanks for watching.
Yeah. Okay.
Love you.
I love
Talk
you, honey,
to you.
and talk to you.
Bye.
All right. Good night.
Okay, Boo. Love you. Talk to you.
Love you. Talk to you.